Srimate Shankaracharya Dhimate Advaita Shaktaye Namostu Advaita Siddhanta Sthapanopatha Murtaye Shri Harim Paramanandam Padeshtaramishwaram Aparokṣānubhūti Prochate Moksha Siddhaye Sadvireva Prayatnena Vikshaniya Muhurmuhu. So we have completed the 47th shloka last time. I will just go back to that and continue with the 48th one. Shrutya nivaritam nunam nanartvam swamukhe nahi katham bhaso bhaved anyaha sthite cha advaya karane. So the nanatvam, that is the duality, has been very nicely, very effectively, very firmly refuted or dispelled by the Shruti itself. So when such is the case, how can duality stand as a reality which is distinct from the karanam, that is the cause, which is the non-dual cause, that is Brahman. So Shrutya nivaritam nunam nanatvam swamukhe nahi. Shruti itself has very clearly dispelled the duality. Katham bhaso bhaved anyaha sthite cha advaya karane. So how can this duality, which consists of the observer and observed and the whole observed universe, the duality, how can it be something which is real, which is distinct from the cause, that is Brahman? So here the idea is that the effect is non-different from the cause, because the cause itself is appearing as the effect. For that, the Shruti gives the examples of clay products, gold products, and iron products. So there it has been very clearly established by the Shruti itself that the in all the effects, the names and forms are there, but then they appear to be distinct. They are distinguishing the effect from the cause, but then the truth is that the cause, which is the material cause, which is immanent in the effects, alone is real, whereas the names and forms are not real because they have a beginning and an end. So what is eternal or what is static is the cause. So that is the idea. So that is being continued in the next shloka also. Doshopi vihitas shrutya mrityor mrityum sagacchati iha pashyati nanatvam mayaya vanchito naraha. So here in the okay, you edit gotaglila. Okay.
Doshaha, mistake, api also, vihitaha, pointed out, shrutya, by the scripture, mrutyoho, from death, mrutyum, to death, saha, whosoever, gacchati, goes, iha, here, pashyati, sees, nanatvam, multiplicity, mayaya, by maya, vanchitaha, deceived, naraha, a human being.
Okay. So now he is opening the topic of how the Shruti is negating or dispelling the duality. So for that, he is quoting, the Acharya himself is quoting the shloka, certain indicatory sentences, visibly expanded in the commentary. So, doshopi vihitaha shrutya mrityor mrityum sa gacchati. The Shruti itself is very clearly saying, or rather warning, that he who thinks that duality is real, he is definitely going to be in the samsara forever. In the sense, he will be born and he will die, he will be born and die. That series will be continuous. There is no relief from that as long as he does not get the right knowledge. So, doshopi vihitaha shrutya mrityor mrityum sa gacchati. So, mrityor mrityam. So, from death to death, he will continue to be there in the death. From death to death, he will die and he will be born again. He will die and he will be born. So, this series will continue. For whom? For a person who is having the firm notion that duality is nanatvam is real. Iha pashyati nanatvam. Iha means in Brahman, whoever sees nanatvam or whoever perceives duality and thinks that it is real, mayaya vanchito naraha. So such a person has been deceived, or he has been deluded by Maya. So Vanchitaha is very, very strong word. So he says Maya has cast a spell on him, in the sense he is deceived. He doesn't know that he is deceived, but that is the situation here. We can even recall the strong words of the Kathopanishad, Paranchikani Vitrinat Swayambhoho Tasmat Parang Pashyati na Antaratman Kashti Dhiraha Pratigatmanam Aikshate Avrita Chakshuhu Amritatvam Ichans. There, in that verse of the Kathopanishad, the very strong word is Vyatrinat. Vyatrinat means it has been translated as damned. So the jiva, or rather the sense organs, or and the mind and all that of the jiva have been as though damned to be always outward turned. So that is a strong word that Shruti uses. So because of that, a person is always engrossed in the outside world, but he never ever thinks of the Atman which is inside. And someone who has come to know of this situation, he makes a resolve to realize the Atman. So he puts all his efforts to withdraw the senses from the outside world and use that power to realize the Atman which is inside. So that is the purport of that shloka, that verse of the Upanishad. So here in the in the commentary, the Acharya cites the Kathopanishad, again Kathopanishad passage itself, which has been hinted in the shloka. Mrityor mrityum sagachati yaha yaha pashyati nanatvam. So for that, mrityosa mrityumapnoti yaha naneva pashyati. So that is the shloka, that is the mantra of the Kathopanishad. So here the Acharya in the commentary says, Kincha bhavet drishtéhe doshashravanaadapi. Sorry, Kincha bheda drishtéhe doshashravanaadapi karanat abhinnameva karyam ityaha dosha iti. So he is utilizing the strong warning of the Shruti to again bring us back to the topic of the cause is non-different from the effect. Sorry, yeah, the effect is non-different from the cause. So to bring out, to emphasize that point, the Acharya is now taking the help of the Shruti. So he says, Kincha Bheda Drishtéhe Dosha Shravanadapi. So for the additional reason that the Shruti itself is censuring the one who is engrossed in the outside world and who is thinking that, who is having the strong notion that the duality or the world is real, by saying that the one who is of this nature will never ever get out of this janana marana cycle. So from that reason also, for that reason also, we can conclude that the cause is the effect is non-different from the cause. So because he is continuing from the earlier shloka, when the non-dual cause is so firmly there, how can there be any duality at all, which appears to be different from the cause? So that is the idea which is continuing in the next shloka also. Kincha bheda drishtéhe dosha shravanadapi karanat abhinnameva karyamittyaha. That is bheda drishtihi. That is the vision of duality, the perception of duality. Bheda drishti means that is the idea, and thinking that it is real. That is that has to be underlined. Even for the Atma Jnani, he will also see the duality, but he won't see it as real. So because unless there is the perception of duality, no vyavahara can take place. So he will also perceive the duality, but then he will know that that duality is not real. Whereas the ignorant person will not know that it is unreal. So Bheda Drishtéhe Dosha Shravanadapi, it is defective. That vision is defective. So that the Shruti teaches that Karanat Abhinnameva Karyam. The effect is non-different from the cause. Mrityosa mrityumapnoti yayiha naneva pashyati ityadi shrutya ityadi rupaya shrutya. So this is the passage in the Kathopanishad. It says mrityohosa mrityumapnoti. Mrityu is death. So from death he will attain death only. So that is between one death and another death there will be a birth. But then the Shruti considers that even that birth and that kind of a life also to be death only. It is not different from any other death itself, because he is not going to accomplish anything worthwhile, really. So it considers that life also to be death only. So from life to life, he keeps on going, or from death to death, he continues to be in the cycle of samsara. So mrityum apnoti. Who is the person who does that? Iha naneva pashyati. Iha means in Brahman, in one Brahman, which is the cause, he sees duality. Nana iva, that also it is as though it is as though it is multiplicity. It is, the Shruti is not even accepting that multiplicity is real. So it is saying Nana iva pashyati. So whoever thinks that this duality is there, which is appearing to be real, he is of this nature. He is actually condemned to be going from death to death. Ityadi rupaya shrutya ityartha. Tatra mrityor anantaram mrityum janana marana paramparam ityartha. So he says from death to death means it is there will be birth also in the middle. There will be some respite. There will be some life, but then that life is also akin to death only, because it is full of misery only. So that is also death only. So here, so with this, the commentary for this sloka is over, because he says the Mayaya Vanchita Naraha. So Maya is the one which is the power which has deluded all the jivas. So Mayaya Apakrita Chetaha. In Gita also it says, the Bhagavan says Mayaya Apakrita Chetaha. And then about Maya itself, Bhagavan says in the Gita, Daivi Shesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mameva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. So he says this my power, which is Maya, which is made of this sattva, rajas, and tamas, that is very, very powerful, and it is nearly impossible for anyone to transcend Maya. So people will be in the clutches of Maya only, but then some rare person will be able to transcend Maya, and such a person will be someone who is Mameva ye prapadyante. That is, those who are those who have taken the resolve that they want Brahman alone, but not the world. Only such people will be able to ultimately transcend Maya. Mameva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. So here the Acharya says that Mayaya vanchitaha naraha. So next shloka 49.
Brahmanah sarvabhutani jayante paramatmanah tasmadetani brahmaiva bhavanti tyavadharayet. Brahmanah of Brahman, sarvabhutani, all beings, jayante are born. Paramatmanah of the Supreme Self, tasmat, therefore, etani, they, Brahma eva, Brahman alone, bhavanti iti, are thus avadharayet, should understand.
So when the Acharya has made a strong statement about the greatest danger of taking duality to be real, then the immediate plea or question from the disciple is, then what are we to do? How are we going to avoid this situation? So, tarhi kim kuryat ityaha brahmanaha iti. So the shloka says, brahmanaha sarvabhutani jayante paramatmanaha. So the idea, the anvaya, the arrangement of the words should be paramatmanaha brahmanaha sarvabhutani jayante. So from the supreme Atman, which is Paramatman, which is Brahman, the entire world has come out. That is, or the entire world is born. So sarva bhutani means, actually bhutam refers to the jivas also, and the bhogya prapancha also, which is made up of panchabhutas. So all that is together called bhutani. Sarva bhutani jayante Paramatmanaha. So from that Brahman alone, the Shruti says that the entire world, which consists of the jivas and the jagat, it comes out of Brahman. It is born from Brahman. That means Brahman has created it. So tasmat etani brahmaiva bhavanti iti avadharaya. So the exercise given as part of the solution is that you have to affirm again and again, affirm that since this entire world of jivas and the insentient world has come out, is born from Brahman, or it is an effect of Brahman, it cannot be different from Brahman. So this is the affirmation the Acharya prescribes here. Tasmat etani brahma iva. So whenever we perceive the world, and whenever we are conscious of our own body-mind complex, which should be definitely in the waking and the dream states. So whenever this happens, the affirmation that a person has to bring to his mind is, since this is a product of Brahman, which is an effect of Brahman, it is non-different from the cause that is Brahman. And for that, the analogies of gold and gold products, clay products, iron and iron products has been given by the Shruti itself. So all that we have to bring to our mind as a continuous sadhana. So Brahmanaha sarvabhutani jayante paramatmanaha tasmat etani brahmaiva bhavanti tyavadaraye. So he is not asking us to believe in something. He is giving the logic also. By this cause-effect non-duality is to be accepted, and that is a teaching we have to implement in our day-to-day lives also. In the commentary, the Acharya says, "Tarihi kim kuriyat." So what are we to do in such a situation? Brihatvat aparichinnatvat Brahma. So the word Brahma is being given a definition. It is an etymological meaning of that word Brahma. Brihatvat. Brihatvat means it is very large, very big. That means it is actually infinite. Aparichinnatvat. There is no limitation at all, unlimited. So Brihatvat, Aparichinnatvat, Brahma. So the word Brahma conveys the idea that it is extremely huge, infinite. Tadrupat Paramatmanaha Sarvani Bhutani Jayante Utpadyante. So from Paramatman, which is Brahman, the entire world of jivas and the insentient objects has come about. It is a product of that Brahman. Jayante iti sthiti pralayoho api upalakshanam. So the sloka only says that it is this world is born from Brahman, but it is a representative of the other two states also. That is, after being created, they will exist for some time, and then ultimately they will lapse into the cause from which they have come. So, yatova imani bhutani jayante yena jatani jivanti yat prayanti abhisambhishanti tad brahma tad vijignasasva. So that is the Upanishadic passage in the Taittiriya Upanishad in the Bhruguvalli, when Bhrugu, the aspirant, approaches his father Varuna for Brahma Vidya. The father advises him how to go about this vichara, Brahma vichara. So for that, he gives this statement: you contemplate on the idea that all that you see and experience in this world is a product of Brahman, and they rest in Brahman, and they ultimately lapse in Brahman. So this lakshanam of coming into being and existing for some time and then lapsing into the same being, the acharyas have pointed out that this is a teaching of the abhinna nimitta upadana karanam. So upadana karanam is the material cause. So a product which has come from some cause will can't come from any other cause. Because it has come from that cause only, and as long as it exists, also it has to exist on the basis of the cause only. And then when it lapses, it will lapse into the cause only. So for that, the example is clay. So the pot comes from clay, and as long as the pot exists, it exists on the basis of clay alone, because if it gets separated, it can't get separated from clay. If it gets separated, there is no pot at all. And then when the pot is destroyed, it becomes clay alone. That is, it remains over as clay alone. So this is the example there. So here the same has to be applied to Brahman also, and the Jagat also as related to Brahman. So that is a teaching the Varuna gives to his son Bhrigu. So yatova imani bhutani jayante. So it is the whole world of beings and objects has its source, has for its source Brahman. And as long as it exists also, the existence also is possible only because of Brahman. And when they lapse into Brahman. So this is the upadana karanam. Brahman is the upadana karanam of the Jagat. Ityadi shrutehe. Yasmat evam tasmat hetoho etani bhutani brahmaiva bhavanti sanmatra brahma rupani iti avadharayet nishchinuyad iti. So since this whole world has emerged from Brahman, they are non-different from Brahman. Brahmaiva bhavanti. Just like the ornaments which are produced from gold are gold alone, because we also have that kind of vyavahara in our lives also. When someone has the need to sell his ornaments at home, so he will first decide how much gold he has. He will not go about counting the bangles or chains or rings or all that in his house. His only concern is to know how much grams of gold he has got. So he immediately switches to the cause, even though he has bought that gold as ornaments only. When he wants to sell, he wants to see how much gold is there. He doesn't want to see how many pieces of ornaments are there. So that cause-effect relationship, even we in our own worldly lives also, we automatically do that. Effect is not different from the cause. So, but the teaching of the Shruti is coming as a very, very great eye-opener to us, because it applies this to the whole creation itself. Yatova imani bhutani. So, yasmat evam tasmat hetoho, because of this reason, etani bhutani, all that we see, all that we perceive, that is including the observer. That is here, as we saw in the earlier class, the whole world experience has two parts. That is the experienced Panchabhuta world and the experiencer body-mind complex. And the Sakshi is the one which illumines the whole thing. So the Sakshi doesn't come into the world category. It is of the Kshetrajna category, whereas the Kshetram category, which is in the 13th chapter of the Gita, consists of the observer and the observed. So the observed world is the outside world of Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa and Gandha, whereas the observer will be the body-mind complex, that is the Panchakosha, that is the Sthula Shariram and the Sukshma Shariram, which consists of the 5+5 organs and the Panchapranas and the Manas, Buddhi, Ahankara, Chitta. So this entire thing is the forms part of the observer, whereas the observed world is the outside world. So this entire thing is actually the product of Brahman, and therefore it is non-different from Brahman. So that is the assertion that the Acharya wants us to to perform as an exercise in our daily life. So tasmat sanmatra rupani iti avadharayet. So we have to reduce this nanatvam, the duality that we are experiencing as Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa and Gandha. All the duality, the Acharya now says that you have to see them as Sanmatra Brahma. Sanmatra means Brahman is Sat. Sat is existence, pure existence. We also experience these objects as existing only. That is why the Acharya Bhagavad-pada in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita 2.16, he in that commentary he says, he gives the example of the pot exists, the cloth exists, the elephant exists. So San Gataha, San Hasti, San Pataha. So that Sat is the one which continues in every objective experience, whereas the objects themselves keep changing from one experience to another experience. So when I experience a pot in front of me, I say a pot exists. So the moment I shift my my experience to my perception to the cloth which is beside there, I say that the cloth exists. So now the pot is no longer there in this experience, whereas the cloth has occupied that space now. So when I see something else, so that something else replaces the earlier object. But then this existence aspect is never ever replaced at all. It is continuing continuously forever. So that point the Acharya highlights there and draws our attention and makes us appreciate that aspect. And here also the Acharya wants us to consider the nanatva that we are experiencing and reduce it to actually Sanmatra Brahma Rupani iti avadharayet. So we have to affirm that all this is actually Brahman alone, that is existence, pure existence alone. 50.
Brahmaiva sarvanamani rupani vividhani cha karmanyaphi samagrani vibhartiti shrutir jagau. Brahman, eva alone, sarvanamani, all as all names, Rupani, forms, Vividhani, different, Cha and Karmani, activities, Api also, Samagrani, all, Bibharti, sustains, Idi, thus, Shrutihi, scripture, Jagau, declares.
Okay. So now, just after having said that we have to reduce the entire range of experience to this pure existence that is Brahman, now the Acharya is helping us further in our in this process of reducing the entire world of experience to Brahman. He makes a pure, very clear classification that what we experience consists of three important things. That is, one is nama, another is rupa, and another is karma. So whatever we experience in our day-to-day lives, that experienced group consists of name, form, and action. So when we talk to a person, actually that we see a person, and then we have a name for that person, and we have a form for that person, and the very act of talking to him, that is an act. So in any experience, these things are involved. So the Acharya draws our attention to that and says that, okay, so to whomever you might be interacting with, everywhere it is actually name, form, and action that is happening. So see how beautifully he does this now. So we will be having certain likings and dislikings and all that in our day-to-day experiences with people and objects and all that, situations and all that. But then the Acharya is now helping us to reduce all that, whether we like something or dislike something, like some person or dislike the person, it is actually a name and form and action that is involved. So how beautifully he does that now. So when we see that whole thing as name, form, and action, that likes and dislike portion is drastically reduced. So this is also another sadhana he is giving here in the shloka itself, and the commentary is going to give a very elaborate description about this. We will just see the shloka once again and then stop here. Brahmaiva sarvanamani rupani vividhani cha. So we come across vividha, various kinds of persons, various kinds of objects, and various kinds of experiences, reactions, and all that happen. And all that in every action, every kind of experience, there is definitely action. That is why in our teaching grammar also in our school days, they give such a nice analysis of a sentence. There is a subject, there is an object, and a predicate. So the predicate is the action part of it. Subject is the one who does it, and the object is that on which he does this. So when we say that the boy picks up a paper, so the boy is the subject, the paper is the object, and picking up is the action. So nama, rupa, and karma, all that is there involved in this. So for that paper, there is nama and rupa. For this boy also, there is nama and rupa, and that action is the process. So here also, the Acharya wants us to focus on that. So instead of focusing on what that person is, how that person is, and all that, we have to focus on he is simply a name, he is simply a form, and what is happening is simply an action. So he reduces it to this common factor in every perception. So Brahmaiva sarvanamani, all that names we come across is Brahman alone. All the forms that we come across are Brahman alone, just like all the clay products are clay alone. So the clay products, it might be pot, it might be jar, it can be a saucer and all that, but all these things have different names, they have got different forms, and they have got different utilities also. But then when we want to see the truth of all this range of clay products, we ultimately conclude that it is all clay alone. So in the same way, Brahmaiva sarva namani, sarva rupani, vividhani cha. That is, vividhani is different variety of names, variety of forms. Karmanyapi. So the third aspect is karma. And karma also will be the karma. So karma also, there is a variety of karma actions. We'll be explaining it in the commentary. Samagrani, the entire range of our experience consisting of name, form, and action are actually Brahman alone. Samagrani vivartiti shrutir jagau. So that is, it is Brahman alone that is forming the basis, the platform for all this to happen. So it is something like a movie that is projected on a screen. So whatever we see in this movie is actually, the screen is the basis, screen is the background, and on the screen alone these things happen. Or if we think of some activity happening in a lab, all that happens on the table itself. So in the same way, everything is happening on the platform called Brahman. And in this case, the Brahman, that is the platform, actually is the cause also for all these things. So all these things can't exist by themselves apart from this Adhishtanam called Brahman. So we will. So this teaching is given by the Shruti itself. So that is the meaning of this shloka. We will go into the commentary in the next class. Shri Harim Paramanandam Upadeshtaramishwaram Vyapakam Sarvalokanam Karanam Tam Namamyaham Aparokṣānubhūti Prochyate Moksha Siddhaye Saddhireva Prayatnena Vikshaniya Muhurmuhu Vidya Vinaya Sampannam Vitaragam Vivekinam Vande Vedanta Tattvagnam Vidushekara Bharatim Shastram Sharira Mimamsa Devastu Parameshwaraha Acharya Shankaracharya Santume Janma Janmani Om Tatsat.